Welcome to Empowerment Radio. My name is Dr. Friedemann, and I'm so glad that you decided to join me. Empowerment Radio is about giving you the insights, tools, and solutions to address some of the most challenging aspects of our daily lives. So sit back, relax, and empower yourself.
Before the break, we talked about that wisdom self, and I want to follow up on that because I think there is something that, as a concept, a lot of people feel like, well, yes, you're talking probably about like the soul, or you're talking about the spirit, but I'm not really religious. I don't believe in this. So how do I find my wisdom self? How do you respond to that?
Yeah, it's very simple. It happens to people all the time. Your wisdom self, or you tune into it, whether you're aware of it or not. Okay, so simple ways to do it. Go for a walk in nature. Just slow down yourself. Slow down your mind. How many great ideas have you had that they just come into your consciousness? You go, oh yeah, I can do that. Meditation's a great way to do it. There's a lot of science behind meditation today, a lot of studies behind that. And if somebody wants to learn about how to tune into the wisdom self through meditation, they can go to my site, kendfoster.com/resources. And there's some free information up there. There's the science of meditation. There's articles by Harvard and MIT and Stanford up there that you can find out about meditation, and some instruction on how to sit, and also some classes up there if you want. So that's there. But we are tuning into that wisdom self all the time. You ever been in the shower and all of a sudden you get a great idea and it just goes in?
All the time.
Why is that? Right. Why is that? Well, you're in a place where you're not thinking about, in fact, I would say that when we take showers or even drive cars, we're not really thinking. We're just running on a habit that's been formed. And if you want to think in the shower, then switch hands that you wash yourself with. Now you'll have to think. But if otherwise, you're just on autopilot. So you're in a place where your mind, you're not thinking about, and all of a sudden these ideas come in. Stillness is the price of greatness. So when you start to quiet yourself, quiet your mind, and just really become the observer of your thoughts, all of a sudden, who is that? You're saying to yourself, who is the observer? Well, that's you. And it's like you have all these thoughts flowing by your mind. I would equate thoughts to like kind of birds flying over your head. Okay. So birds are flying by, you have no control over those birds. But if a bird lands on your head and starts to nest there, you definitely have control. You can swish that bird away. That's the same thing with thoughts. Thoughts are passing by all the time. But if you focus on one, like in this case, oh my gosh, did you just hear what they heard that they said on the news? They're shutting down New York City. My city's next. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I know I got to go and stock up on toilet paper. I've got to go get water. I don't know how I'm going to survive this. You may not want to have that thought come in your mind. You may want to notice that, okay, you might have a really, you still your mind for a second and just say, okay, what are the most important things I can do right now to take care of my family and my health and maybe even my neighbor? That's a different point of view than just reacting and running off because somebody told you the world is falling down.
Yeah. Well, what I'm just feeling is like that, this is a time where slowing down seems to be the name of the game. Yeah. And, a lot of people, and, you certainly also known for helping people to have success and to get results. And often this has been misinterpreted by, let's make it bigger, let's make it better, let's have more. And I think we were on a trajectory where just, it almost felt like a runaway train. We couldn't really stop ourselves. Just everything was expanding. And we somehow lost track of maybe our priorities or what's really important to us or who we even are in the midst of this. So do you also see this time as a form of reset where there is an opportunity to slow down, go internal, and reevaluate what actually is results, and or what are results that I want, what is actually success, what is really important to me.
Well, this is definitely a time of reset, and we're resetting in a whole bunch of different ways. And I think we talked about earlier in the show that, a lot of things that you might have been familiar with are probably going to go away. We're walking into a new world. That we may walk into a world where now at the airports, they hit you with a thermal gun to see if you have a fever before you get on the plane. You may walk into a world where all of a sudden we're wearing masks if we are sick, to let people know. So some good things are going to come out of this. We're walking into a world where maybe a lot more will be online. Maybe all the colleges now will really step up and make all their courses available online. So we are evolving, okay, on the outer, but the real key is how are you evolving in the inner? I have a couple in England that got my book, Courage to Change Everything. And what they did as a couple is they decided to sit down every day and to read the daily. By the way, this book is a daily message every day for you. Starts out with a courageous quote, and then I drip on your mind some astute wisdom from the East, and also some cutting edge wealth principles from the West, with some specific questions to focus your mind in the right direction. And, I ask people to not only read this little information daily, the guide daily, but to also maybe even write out and start to journal. This is such a wonderful time we have, like you just said, Dr. Friedemann, to slow down if we want to succeed and just take some time and become introspective. It's a time for us to increase our wisdom, to increase our understanding of who we are and what we're about, so that when things open up again, and they will, you'd be surprised if you do the inner work, all of a sudden your world might change dramatically. And of course, it'll take courage to step into that. You may get the idea, your job may be going away right now, and you're feeling like maybe a victim of this whole virus. But you know what? We're never a victim unless we choose to be. We can be a victor over this stuff. But what we need to do is open up our courage. What are those dreams that you've always wanted to do, but you've never had the courage to do them? If you have one of those, wow, maybe this is the time to find the courage to step into it. Now, I wrote this book because I believe we need daily wisdom in our lives. And we need to not just for today or for the next 3 weeks slow down. We need to form a habit of how we wake up in the morning. Like I said, I wake up in gratitude. I take some time to read this book every single day, and I journal with it every day. Why? Because I've learned that the mind is so powerful, and when we're using it in a powerful direction, we can really accomplish anything we want. So this is the time to do that. Allow yourself to take a breath, slow down, connect with your family, your friends. This is a great time to go within ourselves. And some of you are going to have a hard time doing it. I know. When I started on this path, my mind was rushing like crazy, and I had the next thing to do and expand this and be the bigger, greater, but I found that sometimes less is more. Sometimes when we slow down, we get a lot more. And the thing that we get is what's the value of peace of mind right now? What's the value of having some calmness in your life? What's the value of you knowing that toilet paper isn't going to keep you safe? What's going to keep you safe is that inner knowing that you can tap into the wise self. Okay, you can tap into the higher realms of consciousness and get the answers every day that you need to solve your problems. That's what the book is about. By the way, they can get it on my website at couragetochange.us, couragetochange.us.
One of the things that you just said, less is more. I think that's really an important lesson. And I look at nature as a mirror image of what's going on with mankind. And I think nature is incredibly fast resetting itself. I mean, you know, I saw these pictures of dolphins in Venice in the canal. I mean, that's just like, wow. When was that the last time? And how the emission in China and all over the world has been really reduced. And some people say, yes, the coronavirus may be killing 10,000 people or more, but it saves also 50 or 70,000 people who would have died from, you know, those global intoxications of the planet, you know, like with breathing problems and all these things that we actually just have somehow accepted as well. This is, you know, our current.
I agree with you so much. I like your analogy of using nature. So let's use nature. You know, nature has 4 seasons: winter, fall, spring, and summer. Right now, we're in the winter, right? Or maybe we're in the fall where everything is falling away. Everything is moving away, right?
Right.
And you know, it's that place in the winter though that we are renewed. There's a place where, you know, the rains come, the snows come, that, you know, it cleans, it's wiping away everything that was there, and pretty soon the spring will be there. And when the spring comes, will you be ready for the spring? That's really the question right now. You know, so right now it is a time of letting go of so much, right? I mean, by the way, anybody that buys my book, I want to let them know this, Dr. Friedemann. I have an exercise on there. It's called Release, Renew, Evolve. So what are we releasing? Well, we're releasing our fears, our anger, our resentments, our shame, our guilt, our blame, anything that's holding us in this, oh my God, consciousness. This is never going to change. We want to let that go. We want to let it go. And there's this release, renew technique that's in my website when you buy this book. It's actually, there's a book, a workbook, and 5 audios I'm giving away for you to be able to release anything that might hold you back. So when the spring comes, you're ready to go. You have a new vision of what your life's going to be like. You've learned your lessons, what never to do again. Maybe you didn't. Maybe, you know, I was talking to a Mormon friend of mine yesterday, and he said, we're all prepared. We're stocked up for a year. Our faith says you need to have everything for a year, right? Financially, you know, food supplies, your health supply. You know, these guys are prepared. Most people aren't. So maybe there's a lesson there for somebody. Maybe you want to be more prepared this next time, right? You know, whatever it is for you, you're going to be able to step into that. But when the spring comes, right, you want to have a clear vision. Here's where I'm going to go. I'm going to manifest my dream that I've been waiting for. Or I'm going to go back to work in my company. I'm going to contribute more than I've ever contributed. You know what? I don't like the amount of money I'm making. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to take this time and find some online courses and go take the classes I need to, so that when the spring comes, I'm ready to generate the life of my dreams. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, and I hope that we also let go of our ideas and expectations of what we need in order to be happy, and really go more to maybe things that are simple but deeper, more sustainable, maybe more about relationships and connections, and not so much about career and the amount of money we can make. There is an adjustment. I hope that the spring is not basically the same spring again, where we are just continuously striving for growth at the expense of the earth, but that we are making some changes that are actually really making life more fulfilling. Because that's something that you also described in your book about what success is. It is not just going and having some lofty goals and reaching them. It's more about living in harmony, living with happiness, living with greater fulfillment. And that does not necessarily show up in your pocketbook, but it shows up in your heart. And that is ultimate success. But you also, and we have only like a minute or so left, but you also talked about death. And I think since a lot of people are afraid of death, it's an interesting thing just to see death also as your friend, as you described in the book. So how is death our friend?
Well, debt, you're saying DEBT, right? Debt?
No, death, death.
Oh, death. Oh,
Dying.
death. Oh my gosh. Oh, death. That's such a big subject. Well, I'll give it a real quick synopsis.
Yes.
We are dying to our old self right now. We are letting go of things. There's an old saying, those who buy the cow have to take care of the cow, right? So, whatever you've bought into right now, maybe you've got too much furniture, maybe you've got a lot of clutter in your life, in your garages, this is a time to simplify, to let go, to allow you. So it does feel like a death, right? I used to get upset when I lost, or somebody took a pen or pencil from me, right? Oh my gosh, I'm losing this. Well, there's a great practice of detachment, where we can start to not to be attached so much to our things, that we can let them go. There's a tradition in India. If somebody's wearing a watch and you see that watch on their hand, and you say, "Oh, I love that watch," they take the watch off and give it to you, right? Because it's like you have the desire for it more than that person, because they're detached from it.
Right.
If we were to live with a lot less detachment, our lives would be a much, much better. So think about what you can die to, or you can let go of in your life. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to be happier. You're not going to feel so weighted down, so heavy.
Yeah, and I think this also what you mentioned in the book about seeing death as your opportunity to ask yourself, let's say you would only live 30 days longer, how would you live your life? And how can that be something that is an inner compass to maybe sharpen your idea of which direction you want to go? What is really important to you? And now that we are stripped away of a lot of these distractions and habits and things that keep us occupied, there is an opportunity to ask yourself, so what is really left? If I would have only 30 days to live, what would I want to do? Who would I want to connect? Who would I want to forgive? Who would I want to ask for forgiveness? And things that you just can also right now maybe use as an opportunity to create some cleanup in your life, so that, like you said, Ken, are ready for the spring, who will certainly come. It's not just winter coming like in Game of Thrones, it's definitely spring coming soon and as well. And how we are prepared is all up to us. So Ken,
it's all up to us.
Find the book again, just to make sure that everyone knows it.
All righty. Well, the book is The Courage to Change Everything. You can get the Kindle edition on Amazon, or you can get the hardback on my site, which is couragetochange.us, couragetochange.us, and it's daily strategies and essential wisdom to awaken that inner genius. Hope you'll check it out. It'll
Absolutely. It's a great book. I have it. I love it. And it's certainly something that you can use right now, every day, to get more clarity on your also inner wisdom self and all the resources, including the courage that you have innately inside of you. So thank you, Ken, for being a guest on the show. It was perfect timing. Thank you for all your uplifting and hopeful messages. And thank you for listening and tuning in to Empowerment Radio. Until next time, I'm your host, Dr. Friedemann. Stay safe, be well, and stay hopeful and optimistic. Hi, Dr. Friedemann here. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning more about fear and anxiety, here you'll find guided meditations, webinars, and interviews with some of the most renowned experts in the field of empowerment. Delve into the over 230 videos and more to come every week.